A cameraman managed to get very close to an amazing rock slide on Monday, October 19, 2015, in Evelane, a place in Valais, Switzerland. Authorities had been keeping an eye on the cliff because they knew the rock was unstable. About 2,000 cubic meters of rock eventually broke off and fell into the valley.
Oh putain, oh putain.
Vlog. Putain, putain.
Officials reported that there wasn't any damage. They had evacuated a small village and closed a road earlier as a precaution, but the fallen rocks didn't reach any buildings or the road. Tennessee often experiences heavy rain, particularly during spring and fall. This rainwater can get into cracks in rocks, weakening them and making them likely to break off from cliffs or steep slopes. This is exactly what happened in one case where a large rock slide ended up in a parking lot in Tennessee.
I'm just going to move forward. Nobody will park.
Thankfully, there were no casualties, which could have led to a much worse situation. The demolition of the East Hills high-rise didn't go as smoothly as expected. They planned to use explosives to bring down the 34-year-old, 14-story building quickly, but it didn't work out the first time. A crowd of a few hundred people gathered, counting down the final 10 seconds, but were left disappointed when, after the dust cleared, half of the building still stood on Bracy Drive, prompting laughter from the onlookers. Herman Ward, who had lived on the 13th floor for 12 years, was among the spectators hoping to see the building fully demolished. He was let down when only part of the building fell, as he wanted all his unpleasant memories associated with it to disappear in the demolition. It took a second explosion to finally bring down the entire building. In downtown Vancouver, a demolition went wrong when 2 walls fell onto busy streets, though luckily, no one was hurt. The building, previously known as the William Davis Center for Axing, was being torn down at the corners of Hornby and Helmkin Streets. As the north wall collapsed, it sent hundreds of pounds of rubble onto the street and clouds of dust into the air. Moments later, another wall fell and nearly struck a bystander. The city of Vancouver responded by fining the developer and the demolition company up to $519,000 while they investigated why this happened. The site was closed and all construction was halted. The company responsible for the demolition chose not to comment on the incident. The property is planned to be developed into high-end residences on Hornby. Despite efforts, controlling the damage has been challenging, and a video of the incident quickly spread online. On September 11, 2022, a dam at the abandoned Jagersfontein diamond mine in South Africa broke, similar to the 2019 Brumadinho Dam collapse, releasing a mix of mining waste known as tailings. A video captured the moment the dam burst, showing how the receding water left behind white and tan layers of dried tailings and mud. The banks of the nearby stream were visibly wider and eroded due to the flood. News reports indicated that the flood destroyed over 160 homes, resulted in the deaths of at least 3 people and hundreds of animals, and damaged over 26 square kilometers, 10 square miles, of grazing land. In Santo Domingo, a severe landslide caused by heavy rainfall resulted in significant damage to homes, buildings, and infrastructure.
Wow, 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 mira, 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 mira. Increíble. Wow. Ahí. Increíble. Wow.
Unfortunately, this event also led to loss of lives and widespread disruption for many people. At Lake Powell near Antelope Marina, a massive rock slide was captured on camera by a witness named Mila Carter. Although some people's boating plans were disrupted by rain, another group experienced the rock slide firsthand. The video recorded by Carter shows a dramatic moment when a large section of rock face fell into the water, causing a huge splash and waves throughout the lake. Carter mentioned that they first noticed some rocks and sand trickling down before the entire face gave way. A tidal wave followed the collapse, which, according to Carter, was much larger than what the video suggested.
And, you can see the big splash on the video, but the wave afterwards, I feel like the video didn't do that big tidal wave justice. It was huge. And so, I'm grateful that we were out of the way, and there was actually a boat following us, and we thought they were still behind us, but they had seen it also and moved off to the side.
Luckily, Carter's boat and another nearby were able to move away in time, and it seems that no one was injured in the incident. A tropical storm hit various parts of the southeastern United States, affecting North Carolina, though it wasn't extremely strong. The storm still caused big waves and serious erosion along the coast, particularly in Rodanthe, a town on Hatteras Island in the Outer Banks, known for its susceptibility to storms and erosion due to its close proximity to the ocean and narrow shape. A house on the coast of Rodanthe collapsed because of the large waves enhanced by Hurricane Ernesto. The combination of the storm surge, strong winds, and waves from the hurricane slowly wore away the land under the house, weakening its foundation until it finally fell apart. The house's collapse in Rodanthe from Hurricane Ernesto shows the damaging impact even moderate storms can have on coastal areas, highlighting the need for taking steps to protect homes and infrastructure from hurricanes, storm surges, and coastal erosion. In North Carolina's Outer Banks, the impacts of climate change are dramatically visible. A distressing scene unfolded as robust homes once thought secure succumb to the Atlantic Ocean's relentless force. Captured footage shows a house reduced to rubble, its homeowner battling ceaselessly with debris. The video captures a house being destroyed by massive waves, while another nearby temporarily withstands the assault. Tragically, on May 10, 2022, this second house too was swept away. Although no injuries were reported, the community remains on edge as another storm looms, threatening further erosion of the coastline and endangering more homes. Federal aid seems elusive for the affected homeowners, leaving their futures uncertain against nature's overpowering might. Online reactions to the incident are divided. Some view it as a natural occurrence, while others criticize the wisdom of building so close to the ocean. What are your thoughts on this issue? Share your opinions in the comments. Here's another incredible incident. A bulldozer following a slide ended up getting stuck in a shallow swamp, making it impossible to retrieve by hand due to its heavy weight. Fortunately, another dozer came to the rescue. The driver smartly pushed soil toward the stuck dozer, attempting to build up solid ground beneath it to provide enough friction for it to pull itself out. The rescuing dozer moved around, pushing soil toward the other wheels of the stuck dozer. With each push, it gradually helped the trapped dozer gain enough traction to free itself from the water. This situation shows that machines work best with clever and quick thinking. A rock slide occurred in Gatlinburg, Tennessee on September 7, 2023, which was captured on camera. The incident happened in a parking lot in Gatlinburg, a popular tourist spot in the foothills of the Great Smoky Mountains. The rock slide was triggered by several days of intense rainfall, which often loosens the ground and weakens rocks on steep slopes, leading to such slides. A group of friends who were having dinner in the parking lot witnessed the rock slide as it happened, seeing rocks tumble down into the area. Thankfully, no injuries were reported from the event. Gatlinburg is near the Great Smoky Mountains National Park and is susceptible to natural occurrences like landslides and rock slides because of its mountainous terrain. The frequent heavy rains in the area increase the risk of these events. Tijuana, a lively city in Baja California, Mexico, is known for its diverse cultures, flavors, and experiences. Recently, the city experienced a shocking event when an apartment building collapsed onto a local roadway due to a landslide. This incident, believed to be triggered by heavy rain, caused the surface soil to become unstable and slip. Remarkably, this is the second building in the area to collapse because of storm-related issues. A rock slide near Colville, California, was caught on camera following a magnitude 5.9 earthquake that hit the Tahoe-Reno region on July 9, 2021.
Wait, it's the whole thing.
Oh, yeah.
What the hell's going on?
I don't know, but
Look at the other side.
Over.
Look at the other side. It was an earthquake.
How do you know?
Because the tires went a little funny. I thought, oh, maybe the road was just funny. It kind of wiggled. I thought, oh, maybe it was just the road. It wasn't.
It is an earthquake because it's going right along the side of the mountain there.
Yeah, it's an earthquake. That was an earthquake.
That is a big earthquake.
I thought it was just the road.
The earthquake, rated at 5.9 on the Richter scale, is considered moderate but still strong enough to cause considerable shaking, particularly in mountainous areas. The quake's vibrations dislodged rocks from steep mountain slopes, leading to a significant rock slide captured on video by witnesses. Thankfully, no serious injuries were reported. However, rockslides triggered by earthquakes pose a risk, especially if they occur near roads or populated areas. The incident likely disrupted local transportation, as falling rocks can block roads and damage infrastructure. In Malibu Canyon, a large rockslide occurred, blocking Malibu Canyon Road between PCH and Payam Road. The video, taken by Samantha Bravo, shows that traffic is completely halted. Crews are currently on the scene evaluating the damage. The road was closed in both directions for an unspecified period. On July 30th, 2024, landslides hit the villages of Churalmala and Mundakai in Wayanad, a district in Kerala, India. This area is known for its heavy monsoon rains and is prone to landslides. The landslides were caused by continuous heavy rain that soaked the soil and made the hills unstable. Kerala's monsoons are usually intense, and the hilly landscape combined with lots of rain often results in landslides. Videos captured show the extensive damage, with homes and infrastructure buried under mud, debris, and trees. The landslides destroyed large areas, and rescue efforts were difficult due to the tough terrain and ongoing rain. Sadly, over 230 people died in these landslides, making it one of the worst disasters in the region lately. The severity and occurrence of such disasters are increasing due to changes in climate, leading to harsher monsoons and more destructive landslides. La Paz, Bolivia, known for being the highest capital city in the world, at about 3,650 meters elevation, experienced a landslide on April 30th. This event occurred in a hilly suburban area on the city's outskirts, leading to the destruction of 17 homes and damage to several others. Thankfully, there were no fatalities, as authorities had previously evacuated the area due to concerns about potential collapses. This demolition attempt is probably one of the worst I've seen. The goal was to completely take down a building, but things went terribly wrong, and only a small part of the building's side actually fell off.
Yes!
Now, to finish the job, they'll likely need to use additional explosives or bring in heavy machinery to bring the rest of the building down. In Australia, several large dragline excavators, some of the biggest excavators reaching up to 100 meters, were being used in repair construction work. Suddenly, one of them began to fall rapidly and collapsed within moments. Its intense fall caused other nearby cranes to topple as well. This accident transformed the entire construction site into a disaster zone, with smoke clouds rising as all operations came to a complete stop. Fortunately, while the mishap resulted in several injuries, there were no fatalities reported. On October 8, 2014, a rockfall blocked a part of a highway near Guiyang, a city in southwestern China known for its hilly and mountainous terrain. This area is often at risk for rockslides and landslides, particularly during heavy rain or earthquakes. The incident occurred just minutes after highway patrol inspectors had stopped traffic on that section of the road due to unusual noises coming from the mountain, which suggested the possibility of a rockslide.
来了来了来了，来了来了来了来了。上来啊上来啊！哦呦，哦呦天呐！还在跨还在跨还在跨，站到车子后头去。好，没得没得没得。哦哟！上来啊，上来啊！过来点，过来点。哦哟！
吊行的，有个小吊行的，有个小吊行的。
Their timely action cleared the road of vehicles before the rocks fell, preventing any injuries or deaths. Large rocks tumbled down onto the highway soon after it was closed. Although there were no injuries, the rockfall caused a significant disruption by blocking the highway. In Istanbul, a construction site experienced an extraordinary incident in February 2023. A bulldozer was operating close to a neighboring building, attempting to dig while keeping the structure safe. However, digging in February can be hazardous as rain softens the soil. As soon as the bulldozer made contact with the base of the building, the structure began to crumble, and steel rods protruded towards the bulldozer. Compounding the situation, the retaining wall then collapsed, triggering a landslide. The bulldozer was trapped and eventually buried under the debris. Rescue teams later managed to extract the bulldozer operator from the rubble. This event was truly one of the most harrowing scenes ever witnessed at the site. This building could easily be mistaken for something out of a science fiction movie, resembling an evil villain's lair with its imposing appearance. It would be quite a spectacle to see it collapse dramatically in a massive explosion. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. The explosion, meant to bring it down, was underpowered, resulting only in a loud bang but no collapse. That's definitely a major demolition fail. Himachal Pradesh, known for its mountainous terrain, is susceptible to natural disasters, including landslides, flash floods, and avalanches. On October 2nd, 2021, an 8-story building in the region was evacuated just before it collapsed. Unfortunately, some residents' belongings were buried under the debris. The building began to shift as the ground underneath it became unstable. The collapse produced a loud noise and raised a large cloud of dust. Heavy rainfall in the area is believed to have triggered the landslide that led to the building's collapse. On November 23, 2019, a large avalanche was recorded on camera in Switzerland, occurring near a tunnel between the towns of Campo and Sarentino. These towns are in a mountainous area known for avalanche activity, particularly in the winter when snow builds up on steep slopes. The footage was captured by a member of the Servizio Invernale, a winter service team that checks road conditions and avalanche risks. Such teams are crucial for keeping roads and tunnels safe in Switzerland's mountain regions by monitoring the environment and implementing safety measures. The avalanche deposited a significant amount of snow near the tunnel, but thankfully, it did not reach the road or cause any damage or blockages. The efforts of the Servizio Invernale allowed authorities to document the avalanche and ensure that no one was endangered by the event. Concrete buildings are usually seen as very durable, potentially lasting hundreds of years. However, construction workers in Mecca showed that this isn't always the case. They constructed a weak concrete building that ended up collapsing. It seemed almost like a bizarre contest. One team built one half of the building that fell down, while the other half, built by a different team, managed to stay upright and was well made. Japan, situated along the Pacific Ring of Fire and frequently exposed to tropical storms, is prone to natural disasters such as earthquakes, typhoons, and tsunamis. A recent tragic event in Shizuoka Prefecture underscores this vulnerability. On July 3rd, heavy rains worsened conditions, leading to a massive mudslide. Around 20 people from the Asusun district are reported missing. The aftermath left only rubble, mud, and significant loss in the area. In Elyria, Ohio, the demolition of the historic Shane Furniture Building on Broad Street didn't go as planned and resulted in damage to surrounding structures. The building had been undergoing demolition since September, but things took a turn for the worse when part of it unexpectedly fell, causing debris to hit nearby buildings. A video captured the top part of the Shane Furniture Building collapsing, with debris crashing into the adjacent building and even breaking through its roof and ceiling.
It fell over under the other building.
Dan Martin, a local building developer, and Clint Rohrabacher from the Elyria Arts Council were both shocked by how extensive the collapse was, with Rohrabacher recording the event.
Oh, if that side comes on the net, it's done.
And that's and that is more of a danger. Yeah, because you got a lower level for all that shit. This just fell 2 floors and look what it did. You dropped 3 or 4 floors of brick onto that thing over there. So
now the only thing, this is pretty severe damage, as you can, and
well, all that weight sitting on the second floor ceiling.
I would.
That's why we have
But this, I will tell you that.
Fortunately, no one was injured, but the incident caused damage to several buildings, including 2 owned by Martin. Additionally, a chimney from the demolished building fell through the roof of a nearby bank, causing even more damage. An avalanche occurred at a ski resort in the Elbrus region of Russia, specifically near the parking lot in the Azov Glade area at the base of Mount Elbrus, Europe's highest peak. This region, part of the Caucasus mountain range, is a popular destination for skiing and winter sports, drawing many tourists during the winter. The avalanche started on the mountain and made its way down to the parking lot of the resort.
Когда прикинь, лавай дойдет походу. Офигеть. Ой, машине.
While avalanches are common in high altitude, snowy areas like Mount Elbrus, they can be very dangerous, especially near populated spots like ski resorts.
catarata o algo, ¿no?
Hava bitmiş lan. Yeter ha. Zararı takalım. Sorun ya.
Luckily, no one was injured in this incident. However, such avalanches pose significant risks to tourists, vehicles, and structures, emphasizing the importance of having adequate safety measures at ski resorts. Many people are aware of the devastating earthquake that struck Nepal in 2015. This disaster left millions without homes. In the days following the earthquake, many buildings continued to collapse because their foundations had been damaged. The earthquake resulted in the deaths of nearly 9,000 people, making it one of the deadliest in Nepal's history. In 2018, East Pittsburgh faced a significant landslide on Route 30, triggered by heavy rainfall and unstable soil conditions. This event damaged infrastructure and homes, prompting emergency responses and the deployment of demolition crews to clear compromised buildings. The incident underscored the need for proactive steps to manage geological risks and showcase the critical role of community resilience during natural disasters. In New Zealand, while constructing a cycleway bridge, a 200-ton crane was set up on a riverbank. Initially, everything appeared normal, but issues arose when the crane moved to place the second beam. Cracks began appearing in the already moist riverside soil, strained under the weight of the heavy equipment. The situation worsened as the outrigger pad started to sink. Before the crane could fully lower its load, the ground gave way completely. This triggered a landslide, causing the entire construction site to collapse and the crane to flip over. Fortunately, the crane operator was rescued in time and escaped with only minor scratches. The 2021 Kamoli disaster started on February 7th when the top of a hydroelectric dam, part of the Rishi Ganga project, was destroyed following a glacier burst in the Kamoli district. A large rock wedge carrying a glacier broke off from a ridge in the Himalayas, causing a massive slide. This event destroyed 2 power plants and resulted in over 200 people being dead or missing. Experts believe that the disaster might have been triggered by large ice blocks detaching from the Nanda Devi Glacier due to a temperature increase. This would have released a massive amount of water, potentially causing avalanches that brought down rocks and mud. Another theory is that an avalanche could have dammed the river temporarily, leading to a catastrophic burst when the water level rose too high. Japan frequently experiences earthquakes, tsunamis, and other natural disasters. One such event was a landslide in 2021 in Atami, Shizuoka Prefecture, which destroyed homes and properties. This landslide was likely caused by heavy rain that lasted for 48 hours before the event. During the landslide, there were screams and panic, and people were still nearby. A resident recorded the event from a higher floor of a building, which kept her safe. Cranes are often seen as powerful symbols of construction and progress. However, even the strongest can encounter problems. On February 5th, 2016, a massive crane, standing 570 feet tall, was being used for a construction project in Manhattan. On that day, around 8:15 a.m., a person living on the 30th floor heard cracking sounds coming from the crane and decided to record a video of it. Eventually, the crane began to fall, resulting in a catastrophic failure as it crashed directly onto the street during rush hour. This tragic incident claimed 1 life and caused extensive damage to infrastructure. It disrupted all ongoing traffic and caused widespread panic throughout Manhattan, blocking streets and creating severe traffic jams. Given the scale of the collapse, it was fortunate that the losses were not greater. Julin Township in Hualien County, Taiwan, is a mountainous indigenous area. After an earthquake, satellite analysis by the Water Conservation Department revealed 1,391 new collapses across Hualien, affecting a total of 943 hectares. The township, which is heavily mined from north to south, experienced a significant collapse in the Heron mining area, leading to the suspension of mining operations. Despite this, the continuous sound of falling rocks on the mountain made it hard for the residents living below to feel safe. The Marlborough House, an old oceanfront condominium, collapsed during a demolition gone wrong, resulting in one person being hospitalized. Workers from GC Construction of Miami recorded the event on their cell phones. The 12-story building fell, and the front part landed on Collins Avenue in front of a gathered crowd. The public and the demolition crew were put at risk because the main contractor and the subcontractors did not keep people or traffic far enough away. They also didn't submit a necessary traffic management plan that would have protected the public from such disasters. Venezuela's unique geological formations, characterized by sheer cliffs and isolated ecosystems, highlight the country's geological diversity. On October 7, 2022, heavy rains struck, leading to flooding and damage in many areas. A massive landslide happened on the outskirts of the capital, Caracas, on October 9th, sweeping away many people and their homes. Hopefully, there were no injuries. On April 3, 2024, Taiwan experienced a severe 7.4 magnitude earthquake, its most powerful in over 25 years, with the epicenter near Hualien City on the east coast. This earthquake was felt widely across the island, including in Taipei, and even reached parts of Japan and China. The tremors were so intense that they caused water to splash out of swimming pools. The quake triggered multiple landslides, and dashcam footage showed the moment it shook a highway. Additionally, dust was seen rising near Guishan Island, also known as Turtle Island, after part of it slid into the sea. In restaurants, bottles and glassware were knocked off shelves, and various objects were dislodged inside homes and from building sites. According to the latest reports, at least 9 people have died and over 900 have been injured, with more than 50 individuals trapped or stranded in places like tunnels and remote areas. Rescue operations have been in full swing as authorities work tirelessly to rescue those trapped and stabilize the affected areas. On July 7, 2022, a significant calving event occurred at the Monaco Glacier in Svalbard, an Arctic region. Calving is the process where chunks of ice break off from a glacier and fall into the water, forming large icebergs. While this is a natural phenomenon, it is believed that warming temperatures due to climate change have intensified this particular event. Goldstein, a photographer and guide familiar with the glacier, observed that the Monaco Glacier has retreated by as much as a kilometer in the last 20 years. He expressed concerns about the deteriorating state of the ecosystem, noting the rapid shrinkage of glaciers like Monaco, which visibly demonstrate the effects of climate change.
Big gnarly surf here.
The calving of glaciers not only contributes to rising sea levels, but also disrupts local ecosystems, highlighting the broader impacts of climate change on the Arctic and other glacial regions around the world. In 2011, a house in Vladivostok, Russia, collapsed. Luckily, no one was living in the building at the time because it was already in poor condition. Swiss police have reported that 8 people are missing after a massive avalanche struck a small village yesterday. The dramatic event was captured on video. Initially, officials stated there were no injuries, and around 100 people were evacuated from the area on Wednesday morning. Currently, the reason for the avalanche is not known. The Philippines has a tropical climate with heavy rainfall throughout the year, which explains why landslides are common. These landslides often occur after periods of intense rain, affecting roads around mountain bases and the people living there. In one instance, a landslide buried houses and nearly reached a car. A woman and children managed to run to safety just before the landslide struck. Their quick response may be due to their adaptability, living in an area where such risks are always present. The Himalayas, home to the world's highest peak, stretch across India and present a massive mountain range. People living nearby face many challenges due to its size. This area is known for its frequent rockfalls. It's shocking to witness such events, where boulders and earth tumble onto the roads like monsters. They're quite terrifying. If I were there, I'd make sure to stay about 8 kilometers away for safety. Himachal Pradesh, a state in northern India, is famous for its beautiful landscapes, hill stations, and cultural heritage. On September 6, 2021, a major landslide occurred in the Jiri-Shimla district, blocking National Highway 5, the Shimla-Kinnaur Highway.
Push guy. Push guy.
Thankfully, no accidents happened because vehicles were stopped before they could get to the landslide area. The Ituango Dam, a hydroelectric plant in Antioquia, Colombia, faced stability issues in May 2018, leading to efforts to lower the reservoir's water level. Despite these measures, part of the dam collapsed on May 28, 2018, damaging nearby infrastructure. This collapse forced thousands to evacuate and caused severe flooding downstream. The reason for the collapse is still being investigated, but it's suspected to be due to structural problems with the dam and its spillway. There are different theories about the cause. One suggests that rising water levels in the reservoir put too much pressure on the dam, noting that the dam's operators, EPM, had been trying to reduce water levels just before the collapse. Another theory points to insufficient monitoring and maintenance over the years. It's thought that multiple factors played a role, and the exact cause will be clearer after the investigation finishes. In February of this year, a powerful avalanche occurred near a tunnel construction site in India, and it was captured by an eyewitness. Let's hope that everyone involved made it out safely. A 7.1 magnitude earthquake hit the southern coast of Japan, causing noticeable shaking that was even captured by cameras. The U.S. Geological Survey noted the main quake and recorded 2 aftershocks, each with a magnitude around 4.0. Following the quake, a tsunami advisory was issued, urging people to avoid coastal areas due to the risk of large waves. One of the more dramatic effects observed was on an airport tarmac, where the shaking caused parked planes to move on their own. Japan's public television reported that the earthquake resulted in broken windows in some places, and nuclear plant operators were prompted to inspect for any potential damage, adhering to safety protocols. Thanks to Japan's earthquake-resistant infrastructure, which is designed to absorb and withstand seismic movements, further damage was likely minimized. On Sunday, tourists watching a glacier in Iceland had to quickly evacuate when large pieces of ice broke off and fell into the water. This event happened at the Breda Merkurjökull Glacier, which is part of the Jökulsárlón Glacial Lagoon in southeast Iceland. The falling ice caused a big wave to rush toward the shore where about a dozen people were standing. Fortunately, all the tourists managed to escape to safety, and no injuries were reported. Stephen Mantler, a mountain guide with Half Y'all Tour Company, recorded the event and noted that it was one of the largest and closest calving events they've witnessed this winter. In January 2019, specifically on the 15th, a controlled avalanche was carried out in southern Switzerland by a helicopter crew using explosives. This method is frequently used in regions with heavy snowfall, like southern Switzerland, where avalanches pose a regular threat during the winter. By dropping explosives on mountain ranges, professionals can trigger smaller, manageable avalanches in a safe and controlled way. This helps prevent the occurrence of larger, more destructive avalanches. The technique is vital in areas known for their rugged terrain and ski resorts, as it helps protect both people and infrastructure by managing the snow load effectively. This proactive approach is essential for ensuring the safety of residents, workers, and tourists in avalanche-prone areas. Garboville, a small town in Humboldt County, California, is nestled among the redwood forests and known for its scenic beauty. A local resident engineer recorded a video of a landslide that led to the closure of U.S. Highway 101 north of Leggett.
Oh, there's rocks coming this way.
Yeah.
Oh my God, all on video.
Oh God.
Fortunately, there were no damages reported. The Gilgit-Baltistan region in northern Pakistan is a mountainous area sitting at around 23,000 feet in elevation. Climate change has negatively impacted this region, resulting in increased rainfall each year, which has led to more landslides and floods. Recently, a rockfall on the highway was recorded, showing large rocks tumbling down violently, leaving them scattered across the area. Gudvangen, a scenic village in Aurland, Sagen og Fjordein, Norway, is surrounded by steep mountains that receive heavy snowfall during the winter, making it susceptible to avalanches. This area is known for its frequent avalanches. On January 10, 2018, a large avalanche was recorded in Gudvangen. The region's steep fjord slopes, combined with substantial snow accumulation in winter, significantly contribute to the risk of avalanches, which can become quite large, especially during or after intense snowfalls. Rescue teams are working hard after part of a tunnel being built at Kun Nil on the Jammu Sagar National Highway in Ramban district collapsed.
Come
Several workers were hurt, and it's possible that many are trapped under the debris. It's believed that at least 10 workers might still be trapped. In a major incident from China, 83 containers fell into the ocean just before a Yangming shipping container ship was due to arrive at an Australian port. This event could cause problems for sea transport and the environment. The containers were full of different goods, making it difficult for authorities and shipping officials to deal with the situation. This incident highlights the complicated and risky nature of global shipping and shows the need for quick and well-coordinated actions to handle such unexpected problems. The mill on the northwestern edge of Pell City was built between 1902 and 1903. Taking down a smokestack at Pell City's Avondale Mills turned out to be more complicated than expected. This historic cotton mill has been around since 1902, but shut down in 2006 and was damaged by a fire in 2008. The city decided to demolish the 180-foot chimney because it was considered a safety hazard. The demolition team discovered that the base of the smokestack was thicker than they had initially thought, which led them to set off a second explosion. When that didn't completely work, they tried to use a backhoe to push it over. Part of the smokestack ended up falling on the backhoe, but fortunately, the driver wasn't hurt. In 2015, a huge landslide hit the center of Shenzhen, China, causing massive destruction. Locals caught the disaster on video, showing the ground shaking, and then suddenly, a loud crash as the landslide started. Industrial buildings, which were once signs of progress, couldn't withstand the landslide. The ground quickly swallowed them up, and thick mud rushed down like a huge waterfall, destroying everything it touched. The noise of metal crashing and wood breaking added to the chaos. After the landslide, the scene was eerie. As the dust settled, a deep silence covered the area, which used to be a busy industrial park. Now, it was just a field of rubble. Following the disaster, rescue teams worked quickly, trying to find survivors in the dangerous rubble. Every rescue was a sign of hope and showed the incredible resilience of humans in such tough situations. Shimla, known for its colonial architecture, lush greenery, and panoramic views of the Himalayas, attracts many tourists. However, on July 20th, 2020, a landslide caused by heavy rainfall caused extensive damage in Shimla, India. It's heartbreaking to see the devastation and think of the people whose homes were destroyed in this landslide. People who own small houses might feel they're safer because these houses don't collapse like tall buildings. But small houses can still be dangerous. For example, a one-story house once fell into a deep sinkhole that formed after a lot of rain. It went down 360 feet. Fortunately, no one was inside when it happened. The Haiti earthquake on January 12, 2010, was a catastrophic event with a magnitude of 7.0, marking it as one of the strongest quakes to strike the region in over 200 years. The disaster severely impacted Haiti's already weak infrastructure. Roads were blocked and communication lines cut, complicating the rescue and recovery operations. Video footage captured a building collapse in Port-au-Prince, and significant landmarks including the Presidential Palace, the National Assembly Building, and the Port-au-Prince Cathedral were either heavily damaged or destroyed. It's estimated that around 250,000 homes and 30,000 commercial buildings were either demolished or severely damaged. The earthquake drew worldwide attention to Haiti's precarious situation, prompting a greater international effort towards its recovery and long-term development. Catastrophic flooding that has struck Vermont has unleashed unprecedented devastation, leaving the state in a state of emergency. This is considered one of the worst flooding events in nearly a century. The gravity of the situation is exemplified by authorities' fears that a nearby dam may not withstand the relentless deluge. With a staggering 8 inches of rain pouring down in just a matter of hours, the city streets became treacherous waterways, and cars floated like driftwood. The mountain region, which covers about half of California, has a cooler, foggy, and humid climate on its coastal side. On April 25th, there was a significant landslide along Highway 101 between Leggett and Laytonville in California.
God! Holy cow! Oh my God! Are you kidding me?
Fortunately, no one was injured. In China, a building was swept into a river following a flood caused by heavy rainfall. The flood eroded the building's foundation, causing the entire structure to collapse into the river. Fortunately, there were no injuries as the building had been evacuated beforehand. Sundal, a small village in Norway, is situated in an area that's often at risk for avalanches due to its mountainous and rugged terrain near the coast. On March 5, 2019, an avalanche occurred in Sundal. Fortunately, there were no reports of deaths or significant property damage from this particular event. However, the frequent occurrence of avalanches in Norway, especially during the winter and spring months, underscores the ongoing danger for those living in mountainous regions. A rockfall was captured by a local man near the Labretto Mountains in New Zealand. He was on a path that climbed from the village of Boyle, went along a ridge, and then up towards Mephistopheles. Large boulders broke off and tumbled down the canyon. Even one small rock falling can cause a chain reaction by pulling other materials down with it. In February 2017, a major engineering failure occurred at the Oroville Dam in California, making it one of the deadliest dam failures in history. The dam's service spillway broke down, leading to a serious crisis. As one of the largest dams in the U.S., the Oroville Dam suffered severe erosion, which caused the spillways to collapse. This triggered concerns about the dam's safety and the risk of floods downstream. In response, local authorities quickly ordered evacuations to protect people in the affected areas. This event highlighted how vulnerable important infrastructure can be to natural disasters. It also stressed the importance of regular maintenance and careful monitoring. The Oroville Dam incident serves as a reminder of the risks associated with aging infrastructure and the need for strong emergency plans for unexpected natural events. In regions affected by monsoons, flash floods are a common problem, and it's crucial for countries to have emergency plans in place. However, even with these plans, controlling the vast amounts of water can be challenging, especially in financially constrained areas. In 2017, the regions of Ladakh and Baltistan faced unusually high rainfall, leading to sudden and severe flooding and, in some cases, devastating landslides. A video from that period captured the dramatic moment when a massive flow of land, water, and debris surged down a mountain.
Canal up here.
Yeah, there's a canal on the side of the mountain. Oh my god. It's just a huge pool. This is really scary. Oh my god. It's so loud.
Oh my god.
The bridge is
Oh my god.
That is so crazy. The bridge totally went. That's the only road in here. No, it's the only road. That's the only road.
Oh man.
The video shows the devastating power of floods as an entire forest gets washed away. In the background, someone is heard asking if anyone is down there, and fortunately, there was no one. However, the damage to property and crops was significant. Ladakh, a region with many ancient buildings important for cultural and heritage reasons, saw many of these structures destroyed by the flood. The floods also disrupted irrigation, as the fresh water supply was cut off and drinking water systems were contaminated with mud and debris. Thankfully, no lives were lost, but the impact on the community and the environment was still severe. The Rapidan Dam in southern Minnesota has been heavily affected by recent flooding, leading to ongoing monitoring and worries about a possible failure. The dam, located near Mankato on the Blue Earth River, faced severe flooding from unusually heavy rainfall. This caused a partial failure of the dam's abutment, though the dam itself is still standing. Local officials and engineers are concerned because the river has created a new path around the west side of the dam, which could lead to more erosion and damage to nearby structures, including a county highway bridge and a nearby home that was lost to the river. The flooding has also caused power outages and destroyed a local substation, cutting electrical service to hundreds of homes. The damage could exceed $10.5 million, potentially qualifying the area for federal disaster aid, as noted by Minnesota's governor and U.S. Senator Amy Klobuchar. With more rain expected, the community is preparing for possible further damage, and local authorities are keeping a close watch on the situation, though there have not been large-scale evacuations. On June 30th, 2024, a controlled demolition happened at the Ensdorf coal power plant in Saarland, Germany. They took down a cooling tower, 2 chimneys, and 1 building at the plant. The event was filmed from a spot about 2.7 kilometers away. This demolition is part of Germany's move to shut down old coal power plants and shift towards more sustainable energy sources. The country aims to phase out coal energy by 2038 to address environmental concerns and reduce greenhouse gas emissions. A plane was taking off from SeaTac Airport in Washington when it got an unexpected jump start from a storm. Lightning struck the plane, briefly connecting it with the ground. For those who may not know, aircraft are equipped with lightning protection rods to handle such incidents. Passengers on a plane heading to California had a lucky escape when lightning struck their aircraft in midair. A local filming a thunderstorm captured the moment the plane was hit. Fortunately, no one was injured by the strike. Mother Nature has many powerful methods of reminding us of her force, and flash floods are one of her most common tools. These extremely hazardous events can happen in just minutes and cause extensive damage in that short time. One such flood took place in 2015 in the northernmost part of Chile.
Oh, cualquier palo, ¿eh? Ah, te la embarró. Ah, este es como el año 97, perro. Se mete a la calle, señores.
The video captures a phenomenon known as a mudflow, where a large amount of water moves across untouched land, picking up significant amounts of soil and debris. This mudflow was triggered by unusual rainfall in Chile in 2015, caused by an unexpected cold front moving through the Andes Mountains. According to the National Office of Emergency of the Interior Ministry, a Chilean government agency responsible for managing natural disasters, the floods impacted 27,413 people, resulted in 26 deaths, and left 101 people missing. The rural areas affected likely saw around 28,000 homes damaged, with 105 completely destroyed by the floods. A mountaineering and climbing instructor recorded the event while teaching her students. The dramatic footage shows the Totemange Glacier in the Swiss Pennine Alps collapsing due to melting snow. The collapse occurred at about 8,700 feet above sea level, where a once thick ice layer has been shrinking in recent years. Germany's Westerholt power station was the site of the tallest controlled demolition ever. Its 337-meter, 1,105 feet chimney was brought down in 2005. Many spectators came to watch the two-stage explosive implosion, which caused some delays. In the end, the once tall chimney was reduced to a pile of debris. Several mudslides have struck the outskirts of Guatemala City, leaving around 350 people missing. Emergency response teams are working hard, using shovels and pickaxes to sift through the debris of the collapsed hillside in search of more victims. On December 3, 2023, a major demolition occurred at the former Ensdorf power plant site in Saarland, Germany. The event involved the controlled demolition of a cooling tower that was 165 meters tall and weighed 25,000 tons, using 240 kilograms of explosives. The Ensdorf power plant, which had been operational from 1961 until it shut down in 2017, is being redeveloped into a high-tech industrial site. A notable partnership between U.S. chipmaker Wolfspeed and German automotive supplier ZF plans to build a large semiconductor factory there, with construction expected to begin in 2025. This development is set to create up to 1,000 jobs and represents a major shift from coal power to advanced manufacturing and technology. A glacial lake in northern Pakistan overflowed, sending a huge rush of water into the valley below. The floodwaters damaged a bridge and covered the only road connecting the Shishiko Valley to the rest of the area. Authorities advised locals to stay away from the water and find safe places away from the flood zones. A dam disaster in Uttarakhand, northern India, has resulted in at least 7 deaths and left over 100 people missing due to flooding caused by an icebreak. Minister Trivendra Singh Rawat described the situation as a severe natural disaster, predicting significant losses in both lives and infrastructure. The Indian Army and National Disaster Response Force, NDRF, are actively involved in the rescue operations, with several NDRF teams being airlifted from New Delhi to assist. Germany experienced a devastating flood that led to significant damage and loss of life. Heavy rain caused rivers and streams to rise and overflow, flooding the nearby areas. The southern states of Bavaria and Baden-Württemberg were hit hardest, with intense rains causing dam failures and leading to dramatic rescues and the evacuation of 3,000 people. Emergency declarations were issued in these areas as water levels were the highest in a century. The severity of the flooding prompted states of emergency in several regions. Floodwaters covered streets and fields, forcing firefighters to close off affected areas and redirect traffic to keep people safe. On July 22, 2017, a serious accident took place at Southwest Florida International Airport when lightning struck 21-year-old ground worker Austin Dunn. The lightning hit a Sun Country airplane and traveled through the fuselage to Dunn, who was nearby on the tarmac. The airport's surveillance cameras captured the incident. Dunn, who was close to the plane, suffered third-degree burns on his hands, feet, and chest, and was taken to the hospital for treatment. Drone footage shows a house falling into the Mendenhall River in Alaska after a glacial flood. Juneau experienced record flooding due to a glacial dam outburst, where trapped water escapes through cracks in thinning ice dams. This type of flooding has become more common worldwide because of climate change. Mendenhall Lake's water level hit nearly 4.6 meters on Sunday, which is 91 centimeters higher than the previous record set in 2016, according to the National Weather Service. A 2-story residential building in Guangdong Province, China, collapsed following an explosion. blast resulted in several fatalities and injured one person. Early investigations suggest the explosion was caused by a gas deflagration. Additionally, at least 4 people were trapped in the debris. Heavy floods have inundated several cities in the Pearl River Delta following record-breaking rainfall. Many parts of Guangdong, China, have experienced unprecedented precipitation for April, resulting in widespread flooding. State media have shared videos of ongoing rescue and cleanup efforts. Other footage shows a car being swept away by the floodwaters and a bridge in Guangdong collapsing. Aerial views reveal submerged villages and farmland. Additionally, a landslide caused by the heavy rains has isolated villages in Shaoguan. Rescue and cleanup operations are actively being carried out in the most affected areas. Abnormally high temperatures and heavy rain led to a partial collapse of a glacier in the Patagonia region of Chile. Climate scientists note that while ice detachment is a normal process, it's happening more often recently due to these extreme conditions. On a Friday, Polk County authorities warned that the Lake Livingston Dam spillway was at risk of collapsing due to damage from recent floods and heavy rains. Although there was no immediate threat to local residents, officials were closely monitoring the spillway's condition. Day-to-day operations at the dam would proceed, but gate operations might change based on the situation. The Trinity River Authority received many calls from worried residents and planned to give an update the next morning. They reported a water release rate of 17,500 cubic feet per second and noted that the lake level was at 130.99, just below normal levels. In October 2023, a major glacial lake outburst flood hit Sikkim, India, causing widespread destruction and loss of life. The flood was triggered by a cloudburst over South Lonoke Lake, which caused the lake to overflow and resulted in massive flash floods downstream.
Hello? Yes?
रोड भी क्या एलोकेशन करिए
The flooding damaged homes, bridges, and part of a hydroelectric dam, heavily affecting the Teesta River basin. At least 14 people died, over 100 went missing, including 22 Army personnel, and thousands were stranded or displaced. The Sikkim government set up relief camps across 4 districts to help those affected. This disaster underscores the growing danger of glacial lake outburst floods, GLOFs, which are becoming more frequent due to climate change. Rising temperatures are melting glaciers and expanding glacial lakes, increasing the risk of sudden and severe floods. A section of ice collapsed from the Marmolada, the highest peak in the Dolomites, triggering an avalanche down a popular hiking route. The avalanche killed at least 6 hikers and injured 8 others, with several people reported missing in the affected area. In response, 5 helicopters and multiple search teams with dogs were sent to help with the search and rescue efforts. The injured hikers were quickly transported to nearby hospitals. Local experts pointed out that the avalanche happened during unusually high regional temperatures, which had exceeded 10 degrees Celsius at the Glaciers summit the day before. On a Sunday, the biggest glacier on Marmolada Mountain in the Italian Dolomites collapsed, causing a major avalanche. Initially, emergency services reported that at least 5 people had died, but later, the number was updated to 6. 8 others were injured, with 2 taken to a hospital in Belluno, 1 severely injured person to Treviso, and the remaining 5 to Trente. This tragic event underscores the dangers of glacial collapse, which can be worsened by climate change affecting glacier stability. On August 8, 2024, a powerful 7.1 magnitude earthquake hit off the southern coast of Japan, near Nichinan City in Miyazaki Prefecture on Kyushu Island. The quake, centered in the Huguenota Sea, was followed by several aftershocks. Authorities issued a tsunami advisory, warning of possible waves up to 50 centimeters, affecting Kyushu and nearby Shikoku Island. Thankfully, there were no reports of major damage, though 9 people sustained mostly minor injuries. The road from Rishikesh to Badrinath, running through the Himalayan foothills, features steep slopes, sharp curves, and narrow sections. This area is known for frequent rockfalls and landslides. Recently, a landslide occurred on the Rishikesh-Badrinath road near Bayasi in the Teri Garhwal district of Uttarakhand. Photos from the scene show a large amount of debris falling from a nearby cliff onto the highway. Thankfully, no casualties have been reported so far. The Rishikesh-Badrinath road often sees landslides, especially during the rainy season, with another incident happening just last week. On February 18, 2024, coastal erosion in Dorset was highlighted again when part of the cliffs collapsed into Lorth Cove.
Oh, wow.
Local media reported that cliff slides are common in the area. Fortunately, no injuries were reported in this recent incident at Dorset Beach. A rock slide was recorded on camera in Nagaland, India, on September 19, 2020. It took place on National Highway 29, a key road in Nagaland. The rock slide happened between Pakalapahar and the Patkai Bridge, close to Kukidulong. Dimapur, a major city in Nagaland, is located near this highway. The area around NH29 is susceptible to landslides and rock slides due to its hilly landscape.
अभी भी निकाल सकते हैं 2-3-4 आदमी को
मेरा आज नहीं होगा
These rock slides are commonly caused by heavy rainfall or the natural erosion of the mountains. The monsoon season particularly increases the risk, as it saturates the ground, loosens rocks, and often leads to frequent landslides and rock slides in the region. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can stay updated with our latest videos.